On today's Locked On Thunder podcast, the Oklahoma City Thunder evade a schedule loss and beat the Memphis Grizzlies, winning 5 straight. Aaron Wiggins dominates this game. Isaiah Hartenstein was huge, and we have a bet to pay off at the very end of the show.
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Let's get it going on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, media member, and beat writer for Thunder on SI, Rylan Stiles. Follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. Follow the show on Twitter at LOThunderPod. Email the show, LOThunderPod@gmail.com. On today's show, we're talking the Thunder beating Memphis on the second night of a back-to-back, winning 5 straight games. Aaron Wiggins was incredible in this one, and more with Brandon Rahbar at Brandon Rahbar on Twitter, dailythunder.com. Brandon, we're back for the back-to-back set. We thought yesterday was going to be the headliner, and then today the Thunder defy the odds and beat Memphis on the road while being shorthanded.
This was an impressive win. There's been a lot of impressive wins this season, so I don't know where I'd rank this one. But if you look at all the obstacles the Thunder were facing, this was the number 2 seed in the West. They'd won 10 of 11, 4 straight. They'd had 2 days rest. They were at home. The Thunder on the second night of a road back-to-back. They had 3 games in 4 nights. The Grizzlies were fully healthy. The Thunder were without Chet, Dort, Cason Wallace, of course, AJ Mitchell. Like, if you just look at this, you would say, okay, scheduled loss, right? The Thunder go in, they get up by 30 points at one point, end up winning by 13. Incredibly impressive performance by the Thunder tonight.
I mean, this was, I think, their best win of the year, just because you're playing the number 2 team in the West on the road, second night of a back-to-back, and they have a massive rest advantage over you. And the Grizzlies, who have also dealt with a ton of injuries, just as the Thunder have, had their healthiest roster that they've had all season long, with Desmond Bane being upgraded to available. Edey was available. Jaren Jackson Jr., of course, was there. They had all of their pieces, including Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams, who've been out for most of this season. And yet it wasn't even really a competitive contest. Of course, Memphis did not roll over once getting down by 28 points, but it never felt like this game was truly going to tighten up, was truly going to swing Memphis's way. Only 1 lead change, only 2 ties. OKC again had that 28-point lead. Memphis only led by 2 early in this game off the opening tip. And so you look at Oklahoma City, they dominate the glass 55-40. Huge credit to Isaiah Hartenstein, which we're going to talk about coming up. They shot 43% from the floor and from 3, and 81% at the free throw line. Memphis shot 44% from the floor and 43% from 3. It's just that the Thunder did not let them get a ton of possessions because they won the rebounding battle, and they forced 13 Memphis Grizzlies turnovers, and the fast break went OKC's way 18-15 for a team in Memphis who is number 1 in the league in pace. The Thunder won second chance points 32-15, and points in the paint went to Memphis only by 2 points, though. So, Brandon, really from top to bottom, the stats bear out how great the Thunder played. And it's tough to even begin the show because there's so many different players who deserve to lead it off in segment 1. But got to go Aaron Wiggins. I mean, Aaron Wiggins walked into Memphis. He made a ham and cheese sandwich and he threw the wrapper on the floor, disrespecting the Memphis Grizzlies in their house. A career-high 8 3-pointers made, 61% from 3, made 50% of his shots en route to 26 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists in this game. Wiggins was the offensive force that the Thunder needed him to be in this game, and he continues the trend that he's had all year long of being one of their best scorers. I mean, outside of Shea and J-Dub, he's been that consistent offensive force for them at all 3 levels. He was that tonight, and Wiggins just played great.
Wiggins has had 2 of his top 3 scoring nights of his career in the last couple of weeks. He has been on fire. He scored 17 plus in 3 straight games now, and he's shooting the ball really, really well. I don't know about you, But I think that the Thunder not trading away Aaron Wiggins is kind of an underrated move at the deadline. It's looking like. No, Wiggins has been really, really good lately. And I thought tonight, obviously, he started off hot. He scored 11 points in the first quarter, and he just could not miss from three. But I think that a pivotal moment in the game was that fourth quarter. You know, the Grizzlies hit that 4-point play with like 0.1 seconds left in the third quarter. Then they open the fourth quarter with a 4-point play, and then they get another 3-pointer. So all of a sudden, they rattled off 11 straight points, and they got it to within 12. And maybe there was some uneasiness of like third night in 4 games on the road. The number 2 seed is getting some momentum. And then Aaron Wiggins hit a 3. And that's when I felt like the Thunder took control again. Like any worry that maybe the Grizzlies push was going to end up in a tight game or maybe even a loss, that Aaron Wiggins 3 was huge. So not only did he score a lot tonight, but I think he had a really, really timely bucket, one of the most pivotal buckets, if not the most pivotal bucket of the game tonight as well.
Yeah, timely shooting, timely scoring, and really just stabilizing the Thunder throughout every attempt from Memphis to make a run. And that was the big thing of what this win looked like for the Thunder. Everything tells you that they were going to lose. Second night of a back-to-back. They don't have Lou. They don't have Queso. They don't have Chet, who is resting tonight on the second night of a back-to-back after he had his first game back from that hip fracture yesterday. They did designate this as rest, Oklahoma City did, so you can make sure that you know how or why he was out tonight. And then, like you mentioned, no AJ Mitchell, no Topic. And you know they've played the whole season without Topic, and they've played a long stretch here without AJ Mitchell, and he's not going to be back anytime soon. But that's just like roster spots that you don't have. That's bodies, that's literal bodies that you do not have to put on the court tonight. And the Thunder withstood all of that against a fully healthy number 2 seed in the West. You know, Brandon, I think that you can always keep doubting teams. And look, the secret is, if you're wondering why the Thunder are disrespected, or you're wondering why national media keeps talking about other teams, or keeps saying that nobody fears the Thunder, it's twofold. Number one, for the national media who are on like ESPN, TNT, they want you to watch the playoffs. So like they don't want to just tell you, hey, this team's going to walk their way to the NBA Finals. It takes a lot out of the deal. But number two, you're always going to be more right than you are wrong if you skew negative. Like if you skew negative, you're always going to come out ahead. So like, for example, if you say Oklahoma City, Cleveland, all of these spunky teams, all these fun teams who are purely dominant aren't going to win the title, or are going to come up a bit short, you're probably going to be right, because guess what? Only one team can win the title. Only one team can actually go do it. So the doubt is still going to be there. And then the other sneaky little thing about sports media is once they do it, they get crowned as a dynasty. I mean, Denver got crowned as a dynasty. That dynasty is not looking overly pretty right now. Boston, of course, got crowned as a dynasty last year. That one is more so available for the taking for Boston. And then Oklahoma City, whenever they win, or if they win, they'll be considered the next NBA dynasty for years to come. And then people will start to come around on them. So it's always going to skew negative until you do it. But Brandon, I watched this game tonight, and I see the adversity the Thunder have battled through to get to this 42-9 mark. And I just think, yeah, you know, you can squint your eyes and see a way where Denver goes and gets them in a playoff series. You can squint your eyes and see a way in which some other teams can go get the Thunder out west. But that's the whole thing. You have to really squint. You have to really envision a perfect series for the other team and a flaw-filled series for Oklahoma City. I think the Thunder continue to show you every game that they are the absolute favorite out west.
Well, I think that tonight was a big moment because a lot of people wanted to see the number 2 seed Grizzlies against this Thunder team. And the thought was maybe the size with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Zach Edey would prove too much. And it was funny because the Thunder out-rebounded them. And I think that because this Grizzlies team had been so hot, they'd won 10 of 11, they'd won 4 in a row, but we hadn't seen the Thunder versus Grizzlies this season when both teams were healthy. Well, one team was really healthy, so you get their best shot. The Thunder not healthy whatsoever and still blow this team out. Like, what more can be said when you beat the number 2 seed, a team that's really, really hot at home with rest, and you just go in and dominate and you're not fully healthy yourself. So I think this was kind of, I don't want to call it a turning point. The Thunder have been dominant all season long, and anybody, watching this season should realize that and know that. But I think if there is any sort of doubt left, because, the Grizzlies were an unknown, I guess, because we hadn't seen them go against the Thunder healthy. And there was like that wonder, like, well, they've got shooting, they've got jaw, they've got size. Maybe that's a matchup, that can expose the Thunder, and maybe the Thunder will struggle against a team like the Grizzlies. We haven't seen them yet. Well, nope.
Yeah, you saw them, and it was kind of the same that you would expect from the Thunder in terms of what they've shown you this entire year. It's never going to be easy to go into title, never going to be easy to go through a whole side of the bracket, to go through the whole West or Eastern Conference, no matter what your perception is of those teams. Boston last year had to go through some stuff. Now, they came out relatively unscathed in almost every series, but they still had to go get there and get a championship. The Thunder are the same way, but the games like this continue to affirm to you, this team is legit. This team should be the favorite out West. This team should be in the NBA Finals, and now you just get to sit back and kind of enjoy how do they come together? How do they navigate their second ever postseason run? And that's kind of what you're looking forward to in Oklahoma City. Coming up, though, still plenty to talk about. Isaiah Hartenstein, SGA, J-Dub, and more, including a dreaded bet payoff at the end of the show. But first, I want to say right now, our good friends over at Game Time, folks, this team is on a 5-game winning streak. Can they go for 6 against the lowly New Orleans Pelicans on Monday with possibly Chet Holmgren in that lineup? You imagine he'll play after 2 days off? Well, if you think so, you can go jump on the Game Time, whether it's for concerts, comedy shows, sporting events. You can find the right tickets at the right price for you. Even though that can be a headache elsewhere, it's free. It's easy and free of stress at Game Time. Game Time Picks is there to make it even easier for you. Game Time Picks is a curated deal. That way you don't have to sit there and sift through thousands of tickets on a seating map. They just show you the best deals right up front. You can even grab super deals for premium seats that you won't believe the value and the steal that they are. And with Game Time, they're so confident in the guarantee of low prices and the lowest prices that if you somehow find a deal better somewhere else, they'll refund you 110% of the difference. Plus, your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time with easy cancellation options if something comes up. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Go download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions apply. Again, create your account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase by downloading the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. We're back on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. Joined today by Brandon Rahbar at Brandon Rahbar on Twitter and dailythunder.com. Brandon, the Thunder saw Isaiah Hartenstein really show you that he was worth every single penny this summer. 12 points, 14 rebounds, 6 of them on the offensive end, 8 of them defensively, 4 assists and 2 blocks to just 1 turnover. He was a +5 in this game, shot 55% from the floor. What did you see? What did you like out of Hartenstein?
Yeah, it was his aggressiveness on the boards. He had 14, which is a lot, but it felt like 20. Like he was everywhere. And those were hotly contested boards. Like those were real boards. Those weren't those like rebounds where they just kind of fall to you. You're in the right place at the right time and you can stat pad. Those were real boards tonight. I thought he was really, really impressive on the glass, but I thought his put-back dunk that he had was really, really nice. He was playing with a force tonight, and it's a good reminder. Like the team got Chet Holmgren back. Chet goes without saying is such a key piece of this puzzle. Probably the second best player on this team, but Hartenstein, to have him as your second best big is ridiculous. I mean, he's a guy that would start on most teams. You could argue he's a top 10 center in the league himself. And going up against Edey, Jaren Jackson Jr., and to see him dominate on the boards like that, and then also score, but then also the playmaking chops. We see that all the time with Hartenstein. He's just such a well-rounded player on both sides of the ball.
I mean, with one luxury to another, Alex Caruso got his first start, and he shows that how elite he is on the defensive end. We all knew that even dating back to the summertime, but whenever you get to see it, wearing your color laundry, it just is so different. And man, did he stifle Memphis's offense? Did he make it a grimy, muddy offensive system with the way that he was able to just suffocate the life out of the Grizzlies offense? He only had one steal to show for it on the box score, but you watch him and all he was taking away for that team, and you just saw his value on that end of the floor. And then offensively, 2 assists. He had 3 rebounds overall, 14 points on 2 for 4 shooting from 3, and made 50% of his shots. It's another game where he's really stacking them up now, of games where he looks very comfortable offensively. He's giving you offensive production. And as that trend continues, coupling that with his elite defense just kind of shows you what he can rise this team to.
Yeah, first of all, I was happy to see him start. It was his first start of the season, like you said. And I kind of thought, the last game, Dort and Wallace were both out. And I thought, well, maybe he's going to slide into that starting position. But Chet played. He didn't start. He gets to start tonight. And, he's needed because the Thunder have 3 elite perimeter defenders in Dort, Wallace, and Caruso. And, obviously what he brought tonight defensively, such a huge X factor. But like we've talked about, we know what he's going to bring defensively every single night. He's going to cause chaos. He's going to deflect balls. Even if he only ends up in 1 steal, he's going to cause more turnovers than that just because he gets his hands on balls and because he changes the way an offense will attack you with his activity. But man, where he can really take the Thunder to another level is when he's hitting shots like he has been the last few games. 14 points is big. 2 of 4 from 3 again is big. We saw him last year, over 40% with the Bulls from 3. We know that he's a good shooter throughout his career. He's over 37% on his career. We knew this was coming. And if Alex Caruso is hitting shots on top of the defense he brings, huge X factor for the Thunder.
Huge for OKC. And then to get a win like this, where it's not just hey, you squeaked it out, you survived, but a lopsided victory that you were in control of for – I'd say 42 of the 48 minutes, whatever you want to say that you were in control for. You had to get the all-star level play from J-Dub and Shea, and you got it with J-Dub going for 25 points. You had 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. SGA had 32 points with 8 assists and 2 blocks in his own right. Jalen Williams really got downhill tonight, just as he did a night ago, and was able to finish at the rim. He had that loud dunk past Jaren Jackson Jr. where he punished the rim. We know what SGA does. All things considered, though, not a good SGA night in the sense of efficiency, only 30% from the floor, which is such a rarity from him, but 13 for 16 at the free throw line, which again is a rarity because he missed 3 free throws, but still 3 for 5 from 3 helps him get to that pretty box score. But he was also really in command, a really good point guard presence for this team where he's distributing the ball, he's getting them into actions, and he's also scoring himself. I thought Shea and J-Dub really did their job tonight.
Yeah, so it's funny. SGA scores 32 points, and it hurts his scoring average on the season. It was a weird Shea night because he shot so well from 3, but then didn't shoot well from, 2s and from the line, which is where he's usually so efficient. But, when a 32-point night, 8 assists, 2 block night is a down night from SGA. That's how you know this is the front runner for the MVP, when that's a down night. And then J-Dub, I thought, was just so good all night. He especially went on a run there, 8 points in the second quarter to start the second quarter, including that big dunk on Jaren Jackson Jr. I thought Jalen was so good all night long. And now he's been on a heater as well. He's scored 24 or more in 6 of his last 7. He had 27 last night, 25 tonight. So 52 points in the last 24 hours for J-Dub. I think he has been really, really good lately. He's been elite defensively all year long. And his efficiency this year compared to the last couple of years has taken a dip, but it's going back up. He's been playing really, really well in the offense end lately as well.
Coming up, let's recap the rest of this game and pay off some bets before the new week. But first, I want to say right now, about our good friends over at Prize Picks. Go check out Prize Picks today because basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks. It's the best way to play daily fantasy sports. With over 10 million members and billions in award winnings, Prize Picks makes it easy for you to turn your sports knowledge into real money. Here's how it works. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections. And if you're right, you could win up to 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks even has a free pick for the big game where Patrick Mahomes only needs to throw 1 yard. Patrick Mahomes only needs to throw 1 yard for you to win that free pick. Pair that with 1 or more correct picks, and boom, you are cashing out. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, Prize Picks, run your game. We're back on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. I'm Rylan Stiles, host of Locked On Thunder. Joining us today is Brandon Rahbar at Brandon Rahbar on Twitter, dailythunder.com, media luminary, Brandon. Isaiah Joe had a rare bad shooting night since the turn of the calendar year, 1 for 6 from him from 3. Jay Will left some to be desired defensively, but overall had 5 points, 3 assists, 8 rebounds, and a steal on the night. But overall, you have to be really impressed with the Thunder's effort. Kenrich Williams went 2 for 4 from 3, and that's kind of the extent of your bench help. It was mainly a game that was dominated by the starters, which you would expect whenever you have so many guys out in this game. The Thunder did their job and got a big win. Brandon, what else do you have from this game?
Yeah, I will say I thought that Kenrich, there was a possession where he got 2 offensive rebounds. Shea missed the jumper. Kenrich fought a couple of Grizzlies for a rebound, kicks it back out to Shea. Shea misses a jumper. Kenrich fights another couple of Grizzlies for another rebound, kicks it out to Shea for a deep 3, and he hits it. And I think that just kind of like encapsulates who Kenny Hustle is. He's just every time he plays, I feel like he makes a positive impact. And it's those kind of plays. He only gets 2 rebounds in the stat sheet for that. But it's such like a backbreaker for the other team. Like when one team misses a couple of 2s and one dude fights your guys for a board 2 times in a row, and you end up giving up 3 points instead of 2. It's like, oh man, Shea should have just hit the first shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just thought that this game, yes, SGA, J-Dub, Aaron Wiggins, Hartenstein, those were the standouts tonight. But, even Dylan Jones came in. He hits a bucket. He had a chance for an and one. Like the Thunder, the depth of this Thunder team just continues to show how impressive it is. Because every team has faced adversity as far as injuries go. But I would say the Thunder has faced more than most. And yet they still have the best record in the NBA because of this depth. Because they also have the best player in the NBA right now. That's a big part of it. But they also have the best defense in the NBA right now. And I think they arguably have the best depth in the NBA right now. And nights like tonight show that, because Aaron Wiggins starts and he goes for 26 points. And, everybody just seems to have moments where they chip in. So just continue to be impressed by this Thunder team and their depth, and how when it looks like there's a scheduled loss, it's still a dominant win. It's just so impressive.
I mean, it's just jaw-dropping, and like you said, the adaptability to handle when these guys are out and still get a win. And with this win, they're 42-9, Brandon. And if they lost every game the rest of the way, every single one, they would still finish with a 500 or better record, and they'd finish above 500. And that's the 13th season. This marks the 13th season that the Thunder will finish 500 or better since 2010. That's tied for the most in the NBA in that span. And it's just jarring to get to that assurance by the All-Star break.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts that you have this many games left and you're already over 500 for the season. And, one of those seasons that they didn't have a winning record was the season that they went to the play-in tournament, won 1 game. They went 40-42 that season. So very close to being over 500 that season as well. So it just kind of shows how this Thunder team has been a playoff force pretty much the entire time in OKC, and how, Sam Presti built a contender kind of from scratch. They had a quick rebuild, and now it's another contender from scratch again. Like the fact that there's been 2 contenders made, completely different teams, is is really, really impressive work. And they may have a third MVP in 10 seasons, third different player to win MVP in 10 seasons if Shea does that this season.
And you just look at this team, like this individual team now, they were without their three best defenders, or three of their four best defenders, because of course they did have Caruso. Let me rephrase that. Three of their four best defenders. And Ja Morant went for 16 points on 31% shooting. And like nobody had an out there game. I mean, Desmond Bane had a nice game. Jaren Jackson Jr. had a nice game, but it wasn't some like outlandish performance, because those guys are super talented. That stat line is kind of just par for the course. And the fact that with only one of your top four defenders, you could not muster more than this up from Memphis, it is less so an indictment on Memphis, in my opinion, and more so a recognition of how supremely gifted the Thunder are on the defensive end, and how that defense is capable of getting them to a championship, especially if Nico Harrison is right, that defenses do win championships. But okay, Brandon. So let me just tell you right now, trigger warning, I'm about to have to sing. So that's all that's going to happen after the show. Tune off now if you don't want to hear me embarrass myself and start singing and save me the misery. But before the game, FanDuel TV showed a shot of the Elvis statue in Memphis. Elvis, of course, near and dear to my heart. I've seen almost all of his movies, still getting through them, still loving them, listen to his music every single day. And our good friend who comments on a lot of our mailbags on both pods, especially this one, John Godfrey, said, "Can I get some Elvis impersonations for the next show?" And I jokingly said back before the game, well, if the Thunder win, I'll sing Teddy Bear at the end of the show. And I purposefully did this in a reply to one person. That way it didn't spread like wildfire. But as soon as the final buzzer sounded, 3 different people said I needed to do it now, that I promised it. I thought that the Thunder would face a schedule loss, and they didn't. And I'm a man of my word, Brandon.
Yes, so, you are.
We're going to have to sing Teddy Bear by Elvis to end the show.
Shout out to whoever put him up to this, because I'm excited to be here to witness this. Hold on, let me turn my speakers up.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. All right, let's do this. You ready?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, baby, let me be Papa, your lovely teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck and lead me anywhere. Oh, let me be.
Oh, let him be
your teddy bear. I don't want to be a tiger, 'cause tigers play too rough. I don't want to be a lion, 'cause lions ain't the kind you love enough. I just want to be your teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck and lead me anywhere. Oh, let me be.
Oh, let him be
your teddy bear. Baby, let me be.
Oh, let
around
him be.
You every night. Run your fingers through my hair and cuddle me real tight. Oh, let me be.
Oh, let him be
your teddy bear. I don't want to be a tiger, 'cause tigers play too rough. I don't want to be a lion, 'cause lions ain't the kind you love enough. I just want to be your teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck and lead me anywhere. Oh, let me be.
Oh, let him be
your teddy bear. Oh, let me be.
Oh, let him be
your teddy bear. I just want to be your teddy bear. There we go, Brandon. We did it.
You did it. I
could have done it without your backing track. We pulled it off. What an embarrassment. Luckily, this is a Sunday show. So this will be buried by Monday. But it was great doing this with you, Brandon, and conquering that bet with all of you here. Hopefully no one from the organization will ever hear this. Until next time, Brandon, be good and be good to one another.